Everybody from time to time has a little bit of the Tin Man in them. And if you are finding yourself feeling a little Tin Man-ish, if you're starting to feel like you're not sure if you have a heart, if you need to get the old waterworks going to prove yourself that the heart is still there, right, thumping, then you go to YouTube and you type into the search feature, Homecoming Soldier Iraq. In fact, there's a whole video blog called the Welcome Home blog that's just videos, pages and pages and pages of videos of American soldiers coming home from the wars and surprising their families and their kids and, in some cases, their dogs, welcoming them home. If you are feeling a little Tin Man-ish and you need to exercise your tear ducts, this is the way to do it. The Afghanistan war, of course, continues. 90,000 Americans deployed in Afghanistan now. The target date for ending that war is not this year, not next year, but the end of the year after that. But the Iraq war is over. It has been 6 weeks since the last U.S. troops pulled out of Iraq, crossing the border into Kuwait for the last time. And while that trip back from Iraq has led to lots of emotional homecomings for military families at home and at military bases, in the civilian world, there has been as yet no welcome home ceremony, no end of the Iraq war celebration, to say thank you to the troops, to welcome them home, but also to say that we as a country were at war. A war that is now ended, that it wasn't just America's military at war, it was America. As yet, there's been no ticker tape, no marching bands, no floats, no welcome home parade anywhere in civilian life. Tomorrow, St. Louis, Missouri changes that. Tomorrow, St. Louis becomes the first city to wave flags and float floats and bang drums to mark the end of the war and to say welcome home. And it's all because of two friends who decided that if nobody else was going to hold the nation's first big welcome home parade for the troops for the end of the Iraq war, well, they would try to do it just as a couple of citizens. So they started a Facebook page, they collected donations, they met with the mayor, and pretty soon, voila, a parade. Floats are being built, signs are being painted, marching bands are practicing their routines. The Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales, that team is being harnessed. The parade route is mapped out. Hundreds of veterans are planning to march. The parade starts at noon tomorrow, downtown St. Louis. Joining us now, the founder and executive director of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, Mr. Paul Rieckhoff. Paul, as always, it's great to see you.
Good to be with you. Happy Friday.
Thank you. IAVA going to be represented in St. Louis?
Yes, absolutely. We're excited to be involved. We've got a two-tour Iraq vet named Angela Peacock, who's leading the charge. She's organizing right now. She sent me a note on Facebook and said they actually need more trucks because we've got close to 100 vets now. They're going to be going. Some of them are disabled. So this has been a real grassroots effort. Angela's stepping up, and she's going to lead the charge. And it's really exciting. Yeah. It's a community effort, and people are coming in from all over to help this. And your attention has helped as well. So it's great to have these folks get the recognition they deserve. And I hope it's the first of many. It
is amazing that it's happening. I guess it could be happening anywhere. The closest military base is like 3 hours away from St. Louis. Why do you think it's happening there?
I think there's a real sense of community in St. Louis. You see that when the Cards do well.
Yeah.
And some local leaders who've been highly motivated stepped up, and the old Army adage, adapt, improvise, and overcome. So they had a good idea, and social media helped tremendously. And now you've got folks like Anheuser-Busch and the mayor and others who are getting on board. So
the Mayflower Moving Corporation also donated a big chunk of change.
There's a great group there called Mission Continues as well that's had a real national presence, and it's a patriotic city. So I hope it's the first of many. And I've already gotten tweets and Facebook messages saying, hey, we want to do this in San Francisco. We want to do this in New York.
Oh, cool.
So we hope that continues.
Well, Mayor Bloomberg in New York says it's not going to happen here. And his explanation of why is he says that he's talked to military leaders, and what the Pentagon tells him is that they don't want it to happen because of Afghanistan, because it's inappropriate to mark a homecoming when so many people are still rotating out. What's your reaction to that?
I think we hear that. I mean, we know there are folks still fighting and dying in Afghanistan, but why can't we have two parades?
Yeah.
Let's have one when that's over, too. And I think, Mayor Bloomberg's not exactly a guy who marks in lockstep with everything that folks say, so I wouldn't be surprised if he changes his mind on this or comes up with an alternative. And I think the people of New York have overwhelmingly responded to us and said they want something.
Yeah.
They want some way to recognize these people. So I hope we can work with Mayor Bloomberg and Speaker Quinn and others and come up with some other way to recognize.
There have been some city councilors who have been advocating for it. It's funny in New York because you've got this three-term mayor. He's very, very famous. His popularity swings, but it always stays pretty high. And everybody sort of is waiting on Bloomberg to make the decision.
Well, we can push his hand here. And, the Gulf War parade, they say costs $5 million. He could fund that himself.
Yeah.
So we can make this happen. And we did it for the Gulf War. We've done it so many other times. In New York is either going to lead the way or follow others. And I hope they'll be up in front.
One last question for you. I know that you were Nancy Pelosi's guest at the State of the Union this week. Are you feeling like Congress is moving forward on veterans issues in a way that is where they ought to be right now, or do you feel like there are big challenges ahead?
We're still playing catch-up.
Yeah.
I think the State of the Union was a great message. The president really used the military community and veterans as a model for the values that should embody America and the way we should all work together. I think that was a very powerful message. But unemployment's still really high. We've got 20% nationally in our membership. So in places like St. Louis, especially, after we finish those parades, we've got to get them jobs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our number one focus. We're going to be doing an event at the Super Bowl in Indianapolis next week, and we'll be doing events around the country to try to get vets jobs. And that's got to be what Congress takes on. They should be able to do it in a bipartisan way.
Don't talk to me about the Super Bowl.
Go Giants. How about them Giants?
My Super Bowl bet this year is with Paul Reichoff. And I don't want to say anything else about it because I'm a little superstitious, but nice blue tie.
Yeah,
Yarr.
go Giants.
Yarr.
Go Giants.
Tiny little hands. I'm not even afraid.
He's cool under pressure, just
Tiny
like last
hands.
time. You'll
Yeah,
see.
right.
You'll see.
Paul Reichoff, founder and executive director of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, which is awesome. Rabid Giants fan, which is weird. It's good to see you, man.
It's great. Come on over to our side.
You're right. It's not even a side.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway,
Growing.
best new thing in the world, a special billionaire edition coming up next.